again for waving me down.
Okay.
There we go. Now we're recording. Okay. So what I was saying was the Emerald to Diamond Push group is starting tomorrow. It's a 60-day training that was in our back office that I've taken and made into a Facebook group. Currently, I just checked, and I've only had 10 people asked to join that group. So if you are wanting to push yourself from Emerald to Diamond and you want in that group, there's a link in our team page. I will make sure it bumps up tonight after the call so you can get in there. It will be a very intense group. It's stuff every single day that probably should take you about 20 minutes to complete the actual assignment, but then it's giving you ways of working your business going. We are going to be doing the Falling Forward by John C. Maxwell. It's the personal development that was recommended in that training. I'm really excited about this just because I know at Summit, I made the decision that I'm going to be a Star Diamond next year. And so I need that push. And I know a lot of us were talking about post-Summit that we really wanted to do Diamond, as well as I know a few of us have some goals for Premier, for 2-star Diamonds, and for our team to become Elite next year. So in order to do that, we all have got to kind of chip in. So if you want in that group, just let me know and I'll make sure you're in that. Also, if you ordered a planner, it should be back from the printer either tomorrow or Tuesday. I've got all the packages ready to mail out, so I'll be mailing those out probably on Wednesday. If you did not get a chance to order one, I am putting another order in later this week, so just let me know.
Can you talk a little bit about that planner and what it is?
Oh, absolutely. So what I did is I took our business activity trainers that Beachbody gives us, and I made a yearly planner. And there's 2 versions of it. You've got your standard, which are your Emerald or Diamond, and then, or even Star Diamond, and then you've got the Elite or Premier planner. So in the standard one, you get a monthly calendar. You get 3 customer tracking sheets that hold enough for 30 customers each month. You get 100 connects sheet. It's just a sheet that has 50 boxes on each side so that you are connecting with at least 100 people in a month. You've got like 3 pages of note pages just to take random notes. Team call notes is what I'm planning on using those for, and just notes as I'm going through my personal development. And then you've got 5 weeks worth of trackers in each month. And then for the Elite tracker, you've got, and you've also got the Diamond Roadmap that tells you what you need to become Diamond. And then in the Elite tracker, you've got the Emerald, or Elite or Premier, because Lindsay said the same points are needed. It's just difference between 5-star and 2-star. So you have the Roadmap to Elite. You have 10 or 5 Diamond trackers, depending on if you're going Premier or you're going Elite. You've got an additional 10 pages of customer trackers for an additional 100 customers. You've got an additional 10 pages of just blank note pages that have our logo and things like that on it. I do have the PDF in the team page, so you can flip through and take a look at what that looks like. Feel free to use the PDF if you want a digital version of it. And because of our homeschool stuff and everything like that, we get a really great discount on anything I print off as Depot. So I'm able to get those printed pretty cheaply and then sent out. One thing I did say in the team page was, if you are a new coach and you would like one of these planners within 30 days of joining, I will pay the shipping for you. You just have to purchase the planner. I will get it printed out for you, and then I will ship it out to you kind of as a welcome to our team page. So I did have a few ladies ask if they could pay it forward by paying for a planner for somebody else. And absolutely, if you would like to do that, just let me know. There are a few ladies on our team I know really wanted a planner, but financially just could not afford it right this time. So I'm glad that we're able to bless them with the planner and get us all on track for that. So if you have any other questions, feel free to
You
message
created
me.
this?
Yeah, I created it.
That's awesome. How much are they?
The standard is $9 and the elite is $12, and that includes shipping.
Great. Sounds like a great investment. That includes shipping?
Yeah, that includes shipping.
Okay. I'm in.
I get like insane, like it's half a cent for me to print paper, like per sheet. So because of our homeschool discount and all of that, and it comes spiral bound, and it's got they didn't have rose gold or color, but they have one really similar as the cover page. So I'm excited to get them back. I can't wait to start using them. They go August to July, and the months are dated.
Awesome. I'm going to order one right after we get off call.
All right, fantastic.
Okay, so Lindsay thought it was at 9, so she's coming. And there may be a few other people who jump on at 9. But so if y'all have to go, I totally understand. Really quick, I want to do shout outs for the team. Does anybody have any shout outs for the week? You can even shout out challengers that aren't here. Let's just like shout out some like positivity.
I have some for just Lindsay, just she's taking a lot of initiative.
Yeah.
And passing along stuff that she's done and just being generous, supporting.
Amen.
So I want to shout out one of my challengers. She's in our skinny jeans challenge, and she actually messaged me while we were in Summit and said, hey, I've been working with somebody else, but wanted to switch over to you guys because your team is just so much love. And she has been present in, like, she switched over to me as her coach. She's been present in our group, and I just messaged her to say, hey, I think it's awesome that you're doing this. I'm really excited. And she goes, yeah, it's the only thing keeping me going right now. I just lost my grandfather suddenly, and so the support. And I'm like, she is showing up in the worst possible time of her life right now. So I'm really excited for her for that.
That's awesome.
And that says a lot about our team, too.
Yeah.
She feels comfortable to be able to do that.
And I think that's, especially on tough days. Rowan, you can come sit by me, baby. You gotta be quiet. On tough days, when we're starting to question, like, if we're really making a difference or, if we're being successful at this, I think that, like, just to be humbled by little things like that and realizing that, success is not measured by necessarily any numbers that we record. Even like being a supportive team as a whole is showing that we are successful individually, that we work together like this and make people feel included and welcomed and supported. So I think that's an awesome example. Anybody else? Well, Kim is not here, but I just want to shout out Tanya and Kim because they connected at Summit and were brainstorming, and we have planned a 2B mindset group and are starting to work through all of the planning stages. Come sit here, baby, or go to bed. So super exciting. Tanya's definitely, both of them are stepping outside their comfort zone as far as coaching goes, and I'm really proud of them and excited to see how they are able to not only so they're taking their own journey and they're both doing 2B, but they're just drawing other people in to support them as they do it, which is what we do, right? But it's a big step for both of them, so I'm proud of them. Okay, so anybody else? Not, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I have to figure out how to. So do I make my slideshow full screen and then?
Mommy.
I'm really tech illiterate and I didn't get a chance to practice this because I thought we were doing it at 9.
When you go to hit share,
Uh-huh.
it will ask you if you want to share your whole screen or a specific page.
Oh, okay. Because I'm doing something.
Wow.
Hi, Heather.
Hi. That's my Chloe. That's my middle one.
This is Heather's very first team call. She's been participating as a challenger, and I just like told her you got to get in here and show others how awesome you are and start leading. And so she's here. How do I share my screen?
Down at the bottom, are you on Apple or Windows?
A Mac.
Somewhere like near where it says invite or participants, there should be a share button.
Oh, got it. Hey, gotta be quiet. Okay.
Yay, there you go.
Got it? All right.
Yep.
So are you seeing it the slide is full screen for you? Okay. So I put this together honestly because I myself have been struggling with a lot of just self-confidence stuff. Basically, moving to a new town, starting a new job, all of these new things, feeling kind of insecure in everything. And I feel it just kind of like infiltrate my business as well, and how I am like leading others as a coach. So this is something I've been wanting to work on for myself because I've been thinking this is ridiculous. I know that I have all of these things to offer the world, but yet I'm letting other people convince me that I am lacking in so many areas and making me feel small. So like, how do I fix that? And I've been trying to do some focused. Go to bed.
I'm scared.
Then you need to be quiet. I've been trying to do some focused personal development. Girl, Stop Apologizing. I really, really, really loved that book. I've been listening to it. This is my second time now. But so we can share different personal developments at the end. Basically, I've been trying to just focus more on mindset. Like I know the things that I need to do. And I did a little bit of research. You can Google anything. So I'm a list person. So the first thing that I started to do was like convince myself or make a physical list of all of the things that I feel confident that I'm good at, or my skills, my talents. And so I made a list of my strengths, and then I made a list of the things that I feel like I need to work on, and just having those in front of me. So if you have pen and paper in front of you, I would love for you guys to make a list of strengths and weaknesses. And if we had more time, and maybe we can do this like on the team page, maybe we can take a picture of our lists and share them with everyone, because I bet that like if we commented under each person's lists of strengths, we would have like 10 more to add about that person, assuming we know them very well. Like Lindsay, she's organized, she is generous, like all the things that we just said on the shout out. Growing.
I don't see no one.
Look, they're right here. See? You gotta be quiet because they're trying to listen.
But there's some people
I'm sorry,
there.
guys. Rudy's at work. My dad's in bed. And I bet that, like, your list of weaknesses, you know how we are all our own worst critics. So I guarantee you that, like, you'll make this list of quote-unquote weaknesses, and people will be like, that is so silly. That is not even a weakness, Go upstairs.
Thanks, Kim.
Then you need to be quiet. Thank you. Do you want me to put on a movie? Here. So just take a minute or two and be nice to yourself. Be kind. Does anybody want to share? How about in general? Oh, my internet connection is unstable. In general, does your list of strengths equal your list of weaknesses, or how do they kind of compare? Here, watch on me. Can you go over there and watch it? Okay. Second step is to really get really honest, really open and vulnerable, and just like look at those strengths and weaknesses and kind of accept them as, this is me. I'm not at the end of my game. I am a work in progress, and I know that I have work that I can do on the things that I consider my weaknesses, even if like one of your weaknesses is feeling confident. So that's, any of these things can be improved upon. And that to me is really reassuring. Like, we can always get better at things. Now, if you're talking about physical traits, those can be changed to a certain extent. But honestly, I feel like self-confidence comes from within, regardless of how you look. So some of the most confident people I know might not, by society standards, be the most attractive people, but they are so confident, and it comes from within. And then really to focus on your strengths. Like that's something I think we don't do enough of, is to feel that pride and give ourselves credit for the strengths that we do have. And in the moments whenever we're feeling like we're really focusing on our weaknesses is when it's important to remind ourselves of all of these other things that we're so good at, and that no one is good at everything. And so what we have to offer, it's like when you go for a job interview and they ask you your strengths and weaknesses, it's almost like a bad thing if you don't have any weaknesses to list, because then they're kind of like, well, this person doesn't think that they have any areas to improve upon. And also, when you're working on a team, especially, some people have strengths that are different from other people's strengths. And so you work together more cohesively whenever you kind of complement each other. So here was a little example that I did. I was really thinking about this, and for myself, what are the things that make us feel worthy? And I mentioned physical appearance, and I do think that has a really big impact on how we carry ourselves. So sometimes, like for me, whenever I actually do my hair, do my makeup, have on a nice outfit, sometimes I feel more confident. Other times I feel like a fish out of water. But I know a lot of women who say they never leave the house without makeup on because it makes them feel confident. Now it's also a little, it shows a little bit of our insecurity if we can't leave the house without makeup on. I think that there's like a healthy middle ground there. So the example that I use, because I'm obsessed with exercise and that sort of thing, and actually the reason I use this example is that I feel proud of my physical fitness and how hard I've worked at it, and so I feel like it's one of the things in my life that I am happy with where I'm at for the most part. But still, I'm not, if I focused on my weaknesses, here's my example. So I'm proud that I've gotten to the point that I can do push-ups, that I have that strength. However, I'm not great at pull-ups. I'm not anywhere close to where I'd like to be for doing pull-ups. And then even more so, I am totally not flexible. So like when I see people who are like these yogis with this great range of motion, I feel like I'm lacking in the overall physical fitness area. So I start to kind of talk negatively about myself when I've come so far and made these really big accomplishments in my own personal fitness goals. So what I do is, instead of just saying, I suck at being fit and give up everything, I continue to focus on, like, I do the things that make me feel proud and strong, so that I keep my head in the game and don't just be like, what's the point of even trying, and give up, like we do in our businesses often, like we do in our fitness journeys often. So I continue to work on my push-ups so that I can stay strong, so that maybe I can even get, do more the next time. But I also set aside time twice a week. I'm going to focus on pull-ups, even if I have to stand on a chair and support myself while I do them, even if I have to just do the lat pull-down machine so that I can start to get stronger. And I make myself do yoga because, guys, you are not going to most of the time, you're not going to enjoy doing the things you're not good at, right? Because it makes us feel inadequate. So we're going to avoid doing those. And by avoiding doing it, we're never getting better at it. We're never going to progress or build our skill set. So that's something I've really trained myself to do over the years, is to focus mainly on the things that I am doing well, and at the same time, just kind of chip away at the things that I want to get better at. Here's a really big thing. Remember your successes. Don't downplay your life, because we all have successes in here. I mean, whether it's career, whether it's family, whether it's education, whether it's learning to cook, whether it's running a 5K, these are huge things. These are goals that we set and we accomplished. And so want you to make a physical list of your accomplishments, things that you're proud of that you've achieved in your life. And I want you to look at that often and remember that these are things that before you finished them, you didn't have the self-belief that you could do them, or you probably didn't. The fact is, you didn't know for a fact that you could do them. So there was always that question of whether or not you could accomplish it, and then you did. So anytime that you're feeling like doubtful about goals that you have now, you have to remember that you've had goals in the past that you in fact have knocked out of the park. So have that list. And sometimes we forget, sometimes we forget that we graduated from college, or we got a job that we really wanted, or we kept another human being alive for a few years so far. Like these are big things. So go ahead real quick and make a list of those things, or just, if you want to work on it later, of course, you can always work on this afterwards. But I think it's so important to have visual reminders. Speaking of positive affirmations, they're very popular right now. All of the coaches use them, like the life coaches use them. And so positive affirmations and visualization are very important whenever you're working towards goals. All of the successful people will tell you that they're very important to them. So they can be very, very simple, but basically you are saying out loud. So you can write them down, and here's a list of examples, but you want to say them out loud every single morning, and write them every single morning. The best self planner that I use, it has you write down things, gratitude, and then you have to read your positive affirmations out loud every single morning. So my first goal when we move into our house, because I was actually talking to my therapist the other day, and I was talking about this self-confidence issue, and I said, I wish I had them visible, because I forget to open my planner when I'm busy. And she said, well, how could you have them somewhere you'll see them? And I said, right now I'm living in my dad's house, but as soon as I have my own bathroom, my own bedroom, y'all just put them just handwrite them. It doesn't have to be fancy. Put them somewhere where you can see them in your face every single morning when you're brushing your teeth or doing your hair or whatever. There is power behind those words. There really is. And it's going to set your mindset for the whole day. So if you don't have a list of them already, think about some things right now. I mean, look, I can do hard things. Like, that is so simple, and it can apply to so many different things. But again, it's powerful. And something that's really cool is they have positive affirmations for toddlers. I was looking through them because I want to start rowing on them, because I feel like it's just so important for self-confidence, and I want my children to have confidence and self-belief. And so it's really cute, some of the things that they have for them. So we're starting that. All right, step 5. This is important. We talk about being very clear with defining your why whenever you start this business. your why, your purpose. And I think, it's funny because I do this myself. So often we determine our why and our purpose based on our families, right? And that's huge. I mean, I think most of us would agree that our family is our number one priority and the most important thing to us in this world. However, we're allowed to have our own goals and dreams for us as an individual. And so I think it's really important to sit down and think about what do you want for your life? And everything else you can figure into it for the most part, unless it involves I don't know, probably being a stripper wouldn't be a good thing for a family, but it could work. I'm sure it works. Or moving to an island where there's no school systems, that probably wouldn't work. But in general, I don't, I think it's important to always keep our vision for ourselves and then figure out how our family fits in there. Like if you want to go back to school, that's something that probably a lot of us wouldn't say out loud or really allow ourselves to dream, because we're thinking about that could never happen. Then I'd have to find somebody to stay with the kids. My husband couldn't quit his job. We can't lose my income. All of these reasons, I wouldn't have time to study. But if that's your dream for yourself, then you need to find a way to make it happen. Because if it's a dream means you can't sleep at night because it's something you want so bad, or you feel this little ache in your heart if you think about your life being to an end and you never got to do it. And I have a few things like that, and I think that it's so important to not just sweep those under the rug, because you only have one life, and if God put that dream in your heart, it's there for a reason, for a big reason. So don't lose sight of that. And also don't let other people tell you that your dream is stupid or impossible or anything like that, because anything is possible. Step 6 is really important, and one that I didn't ever think about, but connecting with other people. And this talks about, other people who have succeeded in things that you, similar aspects of their life that you are working to improve upon. But I think just having, we can even just apply this to having something like our team, having a support system of other women who are motivated, who are goal-oriented, who believe in themselves, who believe in you, who believe in the power of dreaming. And so I think that surrounding yourself by people who are all of these things we just discussed, who are not listening to the world whenever they say this isn't something that a mom of 3 should be dreaming, or this isn't something that someone with your level of education should be trying to do. Being around people who think the sky is the limit and they work hard to achieve it. And personal development is a good way, even though you're not technically connecting with people, reading about someone else's journey to get to a similar point in their life that you're trying to get to is really important, to learn the steps that they took. Success leaves clues, all of those good things. And also to hear about their struggles and to know that it wasn't an easy thing for them either. And so if they would have given up, they never would have got there. Step 7, be persistent. Just don't give up. It's just like I just said. So we talk about not being afraid to fail. I mean, this call tonight started out as a huge mess, and I was kind of set up for failure, and I'm guessing that everyone can see the slides and that we're recording. So I'm just doing my best, but I am definitely not a public speaker. Jessica, all the thank you, all the thank yous and praises and gratitude to Jessica, because she made these slides for me today, because I don't even know how to make slides. But I felt so passionate that this was something that our team needs, because the women on this team are so amazing. And I know that if I'm struggling, probably a lot of y'all struggle with this. And I felt really, really compelled to share this stuff with you. So even if I failed at it, I was willing to take that chance, even if I'm failing at it. Take action. So this slide has basically this slide I kind of pulled from reading the 5-second rule. These were kind of my takeaways from that. It's a book by Mel Robbins. It lit a fire under me back in, I want to say April or March, and really has actually helped me to, one of the things I'm struggling with here is finding friends. It's been, 6 or 7 months that I've lived here, and my work environment is incredibly toxic. I don't have any friends there. And so I started seeing people at the gym, which is my, the place, my happy place, who were doing, like, this one girl was working out really hard. And I thought, man, I bet she would love to work out. Like, we could work out together at, like, the same, like, intensity, and we'd have a great time. But I was so scared because of how people at work had been treating me, that this, like, little voice in my head was like, just keep your head down, like, maybe smile or whatever, do your own thing. You don't want her to think that you, like, think you're, like, see, that's one of the things is I don't want people to think that I think I'm something special because I go up and talk to them and say hi, when really I'm just friendly and really want to say hi, but I don't want to come across as, like, full of myself, I guess. And so one of the things that she talks about is if you let this little voice in your head start telling you how other people are going to receive you, you're going to believe it when it could be completely the furthest thing from the truth, but it becomes a reality in your mind the longer you let yourself second guess something you were wanting to do. So I walked up to this girl and I was like, hey, you work out really hard. You want to work out sometime? And she was like, sure. And now, like, she's my best friend here. And she's just signed up to be a coach today. So super excited. But she is, like, the coolest person. And I never would have probably gotten to know her had I not done the 5-4-3. So the 5-second rule is so simple. I literally to myself was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Don't think about it. Actually, I only count from 3 because I start to think about it if I give myself 5 seconds. So I'm just like 3, 2, 1. Hey, my name's Sarah. Want to be friends? No, I didn't say it like that. But you just don't give yourself a chance to backspin out of it or to give yourself any excuses or what ifs or anything like that. And you can take that in your business. You can apply it to your social settings. So many things. Like, don't do anything with your credit card on a 3-second rule. Okay. But, like, for all of these other situations, I believe if God put that, like, instinct in your heart or desire in your heart, then it's there. And then you're letting your humanness second guess it. But really, if your heart's desire is something, then you need to do it and stop letting fear get in your way. So that's how I've applied this rule. And the cool thing is every time, so once I did that with her once, and this is just like working a business and talking to people, once I did it once and I had a positive outcome, I was a little more confident to do it again because she didn't tell me, get lost, you are weird, and don't ever talk to me again. You must be, like, a crazy person. She didn't say that. So once we do something that we're afraid of, it will build our confidence for the next time or for other things. It's just like whenever somebody says, yeah, I'm ready to get started on my journey, I mean, that yes, like, powers us for the whole day, right? We feel like we could go do anything. At least that's how I am. If we really tie ourselves to approval from other people, which I think unfortunately is one of the reasons we don't feel confident sometimes, because we worry about having the approval of others or being rejected by others, then we kind of thrive on positive outcomes. And so we can't have those if we don't start putting ourselves in those situations to have an outcome at all. These are just a couple of really good quotes. I can't even remember which podcast this is from, but it was about an endurance athlete who has done so many triathlons. It's like crazy. He's broken records. And they asked him, how have you done so many of these races? And he said, I talk to myself more than I listen to myself. Meaning he basically is like telling himself he can do it more than listening to all of the reasons that he can't. And I just thought that was so simple but so profound. Another thing, like, Josh Coates said this, and we've all heard it a million times that your worth, well, I hope you've heard it a million times, your worth was set in stone from the moment that you were in your mama's womb. You are so worthy, and nothing that you do or don't do can detract from that. Nothing that anyone says about you or thinks about you can detract from that. And this gets into a little bit of like faith stuff. But for me, that's a really big source of my confidence, is grounding myself in that worth through my God. So take it or leave it, but you can still believe in your worth being inherent, even if you don't believe in specifically God or a higher power or any of those things, because I think that you can anyway. Your worth is not something that anyone else can change. You own it. And then this was a really good one. We're constantly creating the future version of ourselves by what we are currently thinking about ourselves. So action begets action, inaction begets inaction, and mindset affects action. So we are pretty much sabotaging our success whenever we tell ourselves all these negative things. What is that one? If you think you can do it, you can. If you don't think you can do it, you're right. Like, it's all about being led by your self-talk. This is something I didn't want to talk business this whole thing, but confidence definitely comes to play with our business. And so really confidence is our business. Like, people need to know, like, and trust us. And I don't know about you, but it's really hard to know, like, and trust someone who seems like they don't even believe in themselves. So that's why it's so important, not only for our personal lives, but for our business lives, to work on our confidence. Because in the grand scheme of things, in our business, the only things we actually have control over are how many people we talk to and connect with, the picture that we're painting for them, so showing up every day, being consistent in our own journeys, and the energy that we bring to our story, to our conversations. And one of the things that we talked about in the Josh Coates group, I went to a workshop with Josh Coates before Summit, was, are you a thermostat or a thermometer? So when you've got all these people with negative energy around you, are you just like measuring? Are you either rising to their temperature or falling to their temperature? Are you allowing them to impact your energy wherever they're at? Or are you bringing your own energy to there? And it doesn't matter what temperature they are around you, you are set as a thermostat. I liked that analogy. So this is something that my therapist taught me, and I can't even remember what it's called. There's like a term for it. Allison? She's not on here. She may know. So this is just the first thing that she taught me, and then we haven't had another session since. But I loved this because I was getting a lot of criticism at work from my manager, and she was like, you have to take this phrase and you can plug in whatever you want. So just because blank doesn't mean blank. So start with that. So how about this? Just because, just because my son isn't in bed right now doesn't mean I'm a bad mom. And then you can go on to the next part of that phrase. In fact, he had dinner. He has clean pajamas on. He's watching a semi-educational show, and he knows I love him. So in fact, I'm a great mom. These are little things that I say in my head throughout the day whenever I'm getting negative feedback or negative people around me, and I need to remind myself that that's just their opinions and it doesn't impact or change the facts of the matter. I thought of a mantra force field because I use mantras when I run, when I used to run, and a mantra is just something that you say over and over and over, and to push through the pain of running. And so one of the things I've been doing to push through the pain of my job is to have basically positive affirmations in my mind that I'm just saying over and over and over. And a lot of times I'm using this just because thing. All right. So this is just a little activity I did with myself. What are the things that make you feel unworthy? And then you either have one of two options. You either let them crush you and make you feel like a failure and stop you in your tracks, or you figure out a way to minimize them to where they don't matter to you anymore, and you see your worth in other ways, or you conquer them. So if it's a bad habit, you work on the habit and change it. If it's a skill set that you don't have, you use your resources. And I mentioned resources somewhere. It might be the next slide. Yeah. Okay. So use the resources that you have to learn about that. And some of the most successful people in this world are self-taught. And think about how empowering that is. Whenever you take something you are struggling with, you go find resources and work on it yourself, and then you overcome it. Like that, just to me, it has to be so gratifying. And I know we're all busy people, so this isn't something that you can do or have to do in one day. Set time aside each day to work on that. Just chip away at it. So public speaking, job skills, even a new language, if that's something that you want to do. Okay, that's it. My last slide. I think Jess took the liberty of ad-libbing here, and I love it because it was the perfect end. The number one thing that we need to do is just give ourselves grace, because we aren't perfect. And like she says here, you can't be the best. You can't give 100% at everything all the time. And if you get upset with yourself and criticize yourself because you're not, then you're just like spiraling, and the negative talk will just, it'll win. So remember that life, we have different seasons in life. We kind of talked about that at Summit. Sometimes certain areas of our lives need more attention, and other times we have more flexibility to work on things that have been on the back burner for a while. So just always give yourself grace, and know that it's like there's always tomorrow, and just focus on your priorities right now, and just love the space that you're in, and be present and grateful. Gratitude is huge. That's it.
Speaking of grace, there was miscommunication about the time of the call tonight, and I think it just got lost in translation. And after looking at the poll for the feedback that we got about team calls, there was a pretty even amount of people who were okay with Sunday nights, the call staying on Sunday nights, or moving to Monday nights. Sometimes Monday nights for me are not great, because sometimes soccer gets moved to Mondays, and I don't always know that it's going to happen until like that day. So I also looked at the times that were on there. So we voted on day and time. Sunday and Monday were pretty equal, but it was pretty evident that 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time would be better for most people, particularly those of us that are in another time zone, because that pushes you to 8 o'clock instead of 7:30 and bedtime and all that. So taking that into consideration, we are going to start hosting team calls and most everything that we do at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I know for some of us that means we're going to be up later, and with MM100 being a morning thing and us trying to get into a morning routine, we will be very considerate of timing and make sure we're off by 9:30. But for now on, team calls will be on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, and I apologize that wasn't more clear for tonight. I let that slip. So, Lindsay, did you get to say what you needed to say at the beginning? Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I did. And I know there wasn't a lot of people on, but a couple of things. I bumped up the post that has the link for the Diamond Push group, because I only had like 10 people go in there and request to be added. The first post goes live at 5 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. And then I shared about the notebooks. I'm supposed to be picking them up there tomorrow or Tuesday from the printer. So I'll have.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and then I've got a couple of people who have put in an order that I'm going to be placing later this week. So there's still time if anyone didn't get them.
Thanks, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to make sure I go back and watch the beginning because I missed some of it. Alrighty. Sarah, you're recording, right? So you go ahead and close us out.
All right. Y'all have a good night. See you hopefully Thursday night for team call.